What is up YouTube? And today we're going to be talking about the Moonlight 4-star choices you have on the current custom banner that is running, where you can choose between a Moonlight 5-star and also a Moonlight 4-star, just basically making your own banner to pull on. And we're just going to be ranking the units here in a tier list so you guys can see what units you might want to go for. So we do have 4 tiers here. We have the best choices, we have the OK tier, we have the counter pick or niche tier, and then we have the needs buff or not applicable, or I guess not available in this case, because Wandering Prince Sid, although he's a very good cleave unit, he is just not available. And actually we're going to add another tier for you cleavers out there. I think that makes more sense. So yeah, let's start from the top here. Angel of Light, Angelica, one of the best choices. You know, ever since her release, she's been one of the best ML4 stars. Very, very toxic unit, right? If you don't have a cleanser against her, you're pretty screwed in a lot of situations because her S3 is so deadly, right? You have that silence, unbuffable, and she also is super frustrating to play against because of her S2. And if you hit her with an AoE attack, she'll put a skill nullifier up on her entire team while also cleansing them. She also has that annoying silence on her S1 that CR pushes back. It's a very powerful unit. Extremely toxic, still top tier. Next, we have Assassin Cartusia. Very niche pick. You pick him with Evasion teams. That is pretty much it. You're not gonna really use him that much unless you're kind of memeing and you're picking him with like Remnant Violet, who just got buffed, Green Violet, and like Savior Auden. But even then, you know, Evasion isn't in the best spot because Sleep and Stun counters it very hard. And also because we have like Briar Cesaria, who just got buffed, you know, just very, very annoying. Also, Last Piece Karin is very good against Evasion, so Evasion's just not that strong right now, so we're going to put it in the niche tier. Honestly, it could be like a needs buff tier, but we'll put it in niche because I know some people like to use him still. Next, we have Assassin Sid, also Assassin Coley. I'm going to put them together. I think they both need a buff. They're very fast, you know, they're almost max speed, I believe, and they can pretty much one-shot a lot of openers, or at least they could in the past. Nowadays, you know, they can't really do that, right? They can maybe snipe out like Rands and Payras, but a lot of the really strong openers like Nogwol, even Sea Phantom Politis have built-in stealth, and they just kind of get countered by that. Also, ML Luna now, she kind of just ignores their damage and their silence from their S3, which is very annoying. So because of that, I do think they need some help. They used to be extremely, extremely good a long time ago when the openers weren't as, you know, safe. But nowadays, they're so safe that these units kind of just fell out of favor and just kind of are useless. Auxiliary Lots, mostly a cleave unit. You can also use him in the current Hall of Trials for Visufina. You actually pretty much need him to score a high score. He's extremely powerful there. But besides that, you're only ever going to use him in like certain cleave comps, but even then, just not really. So I'm going to put him in niche. You can use him in Hall of Trials, and I guess even some expeditions if you're going for the Dagger Sakara missions. Bad Cat Armin, I want to put her in needs a buff. You know, she's just not good. On release, I thought she'd be pretty powerful, but in practice, she's just not that great. Yeah, nothing much really to say about her. She just kind of doesn't really do anything, so we're going to put her in needs buff. Benevolent Roman, I think he's an okay choice. He's a pretty solid opener. Honestly, I want to put in one of the best choices, but I know that a lot of people don't use him a lot. But he's very good in Guild Wars defense, one of the best Guild Wars defense units if you pair him with like Fire Lilius and Green Senya, or Ikarina and like Urban Shadow Shu. But he's very good because of his S3. There's a lot of RNG with his S1. You can AoE push back the entire enemy team, and it can go up to 40%, which is insane. Just a very powerful RNG unit, which makes him very good in Guild Wars defense because, you know, RNG is very good on defense teams. And in World Arena, you can use him sometimes to piss the enemy, you know, player off. I use him sometimes in RTA on my climb to Emperor, but yeah, not as consistent as other openers or like other, you know, control units, but still very, very deadly. One of the most deadly control units if he actually gets his procs off on his S1. Blaze Dingo, I think he's a pretty good PvE unit, but from the banner, I would say it's not really worth it. He's just a solid PvE unit. That's pretty much it. Bloodblade Karin, she is going to be a good anti-cleave and cleave unit, but most of the time you'll pick her into cleave, I'd say. You can also use her in some PvE like hunt content for the first wave. Yeah, because of that, I'm going to put her in the niche tier or counter pick tier. Celestial Mercedes, just a very bad unit, only ever used in Hunt one-shot comps for the first wave, but you can use Bloodblade Karn instead of her, and Bloodblade Karn can be used in PvP as well, so it just needs a buff. Challenger Dominion, a cleave unit, but she also needs a buff just because she needs souls to work. Bellion is a unit in the game that just destroys souls, and also her non-attack skill in her S3 is very important, and that gets hard countered by Selene, Fire Politis, just a lot of units, so yeah, I'm going to put it in the needs a buff tier. Champion Zerato, just a counter pick or niche pick. You can pick him into very heavy debuff teams, but just keep in mind that, you know, you need to pick him specifically in debuff teams, and if he gets sealed, he's completely useless, and there's a lot of seal in the game, so you have to be careful about that. But I'm going to put him in the counter pick tier for now. Next, we have Crescent Moon Rin. So Crescent Moon Rin, I think, is a okay opener, but yeah, she kind of does the same thing as like Assassin Sid and Assassin Cooley, but worse. So yeah, she still needs a buff. She doesn't know how to deal with stealth openers, and even though she's fast, like even if she opens, she doesn't really have the most impactful opening, whereas Assassin Sid and Assassin Cooley can potentially one-shot units or disable them. Crescent Moon Rin, I guess she can stun them, but her damage is very, very low. Crimson Armin, one of the best choices in the game, especially for World Arena. If you're not really into World Arena, she probably drops a bit to like okay, but overall I'm going to put her somewhere around here. I think she's better than Angel of Light right now, especially for World Arena, but very close if you just think about her for like Guild Wars in regular Arena. I think Angel of Light, Angelica is still very good for defense teams, especially Arena, and also Crimson Armin's pretty good there too, so I guess we'll put her in the best choices at the top right now. Fighter Miner needs a buff. Yeah, she's just a nuker. That's pretty much it. Scales with defense. She can be on Rocket Punch Gauntlet, which you kind of need on her. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You might as well use Icarina. Free Spiriteria, yeah, you get it for free, so we'll put it out down here. General Purges, pretty solid option. I think he's still decent. He's pretty underrated. He used to be OP in the past, now he's just okay. CR push on his S2 for his entire team, has that AoE stun and attack buff, just a pretty solid unit. I actually use him sometimes in RTA as a Zeo bait and also in Guild Wars. So yeah, what you do is you pick 2 stealth units with him, with Guiding Light or just built-in stealth, and you pick him into Zeo, and then he'll push up your entire team consistently because he'll keep on hitting General Purges, which is very good. Also good in RTA for that same reason, and also good against AoE comps for that reason, so I think he's okay. Great Chief Kawana, she is pretty much a Katie's unit only for PvE, and there's way better options than her. So I'm going to put her in needs a buff, even though you can use her in PvE, and I actually have her built. I actually Goro'd her as well, skill enhanced her, and I completely regret it because yes, she does do well in Katie's, but there's just way better options, like side options that you can use that don't need any Mulgora, so yeah. Guide her Aether, put him, sorry, with auxiliary lots for Holo Trials, but besides that, you're not going to use him anywhere. Inferno Kawazu, let's put him here. I think he could be best choices, but he's a very good counter pick. I guess I'll put him down here then. He's a counter pick. You can pick him into Navy Captain Landy, you know, Last Rider Crow, ML Bologna, anything with an AoE attack he's very good against. He just one-shots them. The problem is after he one-shots a unit, he just kind of sits there and dies, so that is a big problem. But he's still very good. You know, you still see him sometimes in RTA, and he's very good in Guild Wars offense against those units. Infinite Horizon Acades, I'm going to put her here. You can pick her into Death Dealer Ray, you can pick her into Ambitious Tywin, you can pick her into the newly released ML Luna, which is her biggest use right now, and she's a very good unit. She can turn debuffs into buffs, pretty underrated. Kitty Clarissa, I'm going to put her in okay. Probably up here, and the reason is, yes, you can't use her in PvP, but in PvE, she's amazing, very good in Abyss, extremely powerful in Ancient Inheritance, and she'll probably get more uses in the future as well. But in Abyss, she makes like the hardest floors super easy, so I think she is a very good unit to get if you don't have her, especially if you're newer to the game. And of course, like I mentioned, in Ancient Inheritance, when it comes around, she's very strong there. Last piece, Karin, I'm going to put her in okay. Yes, she's mostly an evasion counter, but she also counters like stealth units like Noggle and stuff like that now. If you build her fast enough and she goes first, she can just one-shot Noggle, which is insane, because Noggle doesn't have too many counters, so I think she's a pretty good unit. Moon Bunny Dominion, She is probably the best choice, I'd say, overall. In RTA, it's probably Crimson Armament, but overall, I'd say Moon Bunny Dominion because she counters Conquer Ilias, she can counter cleave units with non-attack skills, she can counter Noggle, right? And you see those units all the time, not just in RTA, but mostly in Guild Wars and also Arena, so you can pick her there and she's very, very strong. Peacemaker Furious, he is a cleave unit. Besides that, you're not going to really use him. But he's an okay unit. I still think he needs a buff, but for the most part, a cleave unit. Roaming Warrior Leo, bomb unit, just completely terrible. Might as well pick Wandering Prince Sid if you have him. He's just a way better version of Leo. Shadow Rose also needs a buff. The only area of content you actually use her is Hunt one-shots to defense break the boss. But you can use so many other defense breakers like Blue Furious, you can use Green Leo, right? And they're all just better, to be honest. Shooting Star, Acades, just a niche unit with like very cheesy immortality comps. Honestly, I think she needs a buff and a rework, but I know some people that really like using her, so I'll put her in the niche tier. Sinful Angelica, this unit is going to be for cleave. You can also use her actually for Wyvern one-shot, you kind of need her there, but for PvP purposes, you're mostly going to only ever use her in cleave. So you can actually argue for both, but I'm going to put her in cleave because, yeah, everyone kind of, if you're one-shotting Wyvern, you're probably using her and you kind of already know. Tempest Surin, I think she's a good counter pick. One of the better ones in the game because she's very good against cleave. I actually pick her a lot into cleave and she does very well because of her CR push-up, especially if you have her on Alexa's Basket, which just got buffed. If you get the attack buff or greater attack buff with the Soul Burn, pretty much will just wipe the enemy side, which is very nice. Also, if you don't kill them, you have a silence, which is very good against cleave, so I think she's a pretty powerful unit. Troublemaker Crozet, I'm going to put him also in niche. He is also an anti-cleave unit, so we'll put him somewhere around here. You just put him in the front, you put whatever anchor carry you have in the back line, and you should be good to go. Apoc Ravi works with him, Navy Captain Landy, there's a lot of choices. Wandering Silk, another cleave unit, probably the most common out of the 4 stars, just very good there. Actually, I say that, but I think Watcher Shuri is slightly more popular because he can one-shot a unit. These both have speed imprints. Wanderer Silks is more speed, but only affects 2 units, while Watcher Shuri affects 3. So yeah, you could pick them together. Actually, you usually do pick them together with like 2 openers, and you take the first turn, and you just one-shot a lot of units, just very annoying. But yeah, that's the Moonlight 4-star custom banner tier list. This is what I actually recommend choosing from that tier list. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this tier list and if you have any changes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.